Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the news briefing this Wednesday, October 1st. The county is going to do a little celebrating this weekend with a ribbon cutting for a small but very important project out at the Fort Ord Travel Camp. It is a new restroom. Now, if you think that might be overdoing it for a project, think about the hundreds of thousands of people who use these public lands and how much they're going to appreciate that. Our friend Bryan Flores, who is the chief of parks, is joining us to tell us about the project and the history behind Travel Camp. Hi, Bryan.
Hi, Maya. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone. We have a new bathroom, and while it is just a bathroom, we can all probably agree that in a time of need, a bathroom is something that's very important to us all. So that is why we put the restroom facility out at Travel Camp, which is just west of the East Garrison subdivision. Travel Camp came to us in 2012 from the Fort Ord Reuse Authority following the base closure in 1994. The area was historically used by family members and friends who came to visit their enlisted family members at Fort Ord, and they were allowed to camp at that site, whether in a trailer or a tent. There were numerous fishing ponds, there was a shooting range, and actually one of the historic buildings that is within the East Garrison subdivision is called the Fort Ord Rod and Gun Club. And there's a really neat logo on the side of that building. And that's where the officers and the family members and enlisted members would gather and have some recreation while their service members were there at Fort Ord training. For those of you who don't know, Fort Ord was our premier basic training site for the Army. It was where basically during World War I, World War II, the Vietnam conflict, and the Korean War, members of our military, a majority of the members of the military did their basic training at Fort Ord. And then that was closed in 94. So following the base reuse, the county got a number of parcels over the years. Travel Camp was the first one we received. And since 2012, since it came to the county, it's primarily been used as a staging area for, I apologize for the chainsaw in the background there. It was primarily used for biking and running events, both at the interscholastic high school level, amateur, and then professional with the Sea Otter Classic. It's heavily used during times of the year, and then other times it's open for recreation for the general public. Our goal, our I don't want to say long term because I'd like to see it happen sooner than later. Our goal is to essentially make this area a trailhead. The Fort Ord National Monument and surrounding lands get about a 1.5 million visitors a year, and that's including our local mountain biking and hiking and equestrian groups that utilize the properties. Many of the guests of Fort Ord National Monument come through our county parcels. They either park over 8th and Giggling, over near the city of Seaside, or in the East Garrison subdivision, and then cross county property to get to the monument. So while they may not be visiting our county properties as their sole interest, they are going through our county properties and need to have recreational amenities to support those activities. We currently have some portable restrooms at 8th and Giggling, which is a very popular mountain biking trailhead. The Monterey Off-Road Cycling Association, or MORCA, did some fundraising efforts through the Monterey Weekly and have an agreement with the county to provide those blue room toilets there at 8th and Giggling. Our goal would be to put another permanent structure there like we have at Travel Camp. This project took a couple of months. It is a prefab concrete building that was brought in 2 pieces on a flatbed trailer, and then using that very large crane, were lifted and placed over the pits that were dug for the vaults. These are self-contained. There's no human waste that comes in contact with the ground. They're a concrete vault that is pumped out from time to time. There's the hole that was dug to place the vault in. The project total cost was about $161,000. The toilet, the vault restroom, the construction management, county staff time came to about 156, with another $5,000 to put a very large mound of soil over a high pressure PG&E gas line that was discovered out there, so that that large crane could traverse across that area without crushing the pipe and blowing up most of Marina. So we we didn't want to have that happen. So we took every precaution available to us to ensure that that crane had safe passage across the ground. So yeah, it's a really great amenity to have out there. It will be on a time lock, so the doors will automatically unlock at a set time in the morning, probably around 8 o'clock, and then close probably around dusk. So that time will change based on the time of the year. And then park staff will provide the janitorial service to keep the restroom clean and sanitary. But we're looking at hopefully making an all-weather parking lot, laying down gravel, and then at some point in time opening up the Watkins Gate and West Camp Gate to allow the general public to park in this area throughout the week, not just during special events. We'll have a informational kiosk set up with some interpretive signage and rules and regulations and things like that. So.
Bryan, thanks very much for talking about this. Again, a bathroom is just a bathroom until you really need one. And I think people aren't aware of how many users there are out in that area. I think it's a local treasure that we just take for granted, that we're so fortunate to live around this beautiful wildland area. And we don't realize that, 1.5 million people use it each year.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go out to East Garrison or 8th and Giggling any time of the day, any day of the week, and there'll be anywhere from 10 to 30, 40 cars parked out there with bike racks. You'll see people with horse trailers. It's a very highly used recreational area. County owns about 2,700 acres in the former Fort Ord, much of which is habitat conservation areas, and we're completing our habitat management plan. And so that will allow us to open up more recreational opportunities for individuals once those habitat plans are completed and we have a path forward, to provide good stewardship of the land and the species that are out there. There are numerous sensitive species and endangered species in former Fort Ord. The California tiger salamander, Smith's blue butterfly, the local spine flower. There are species that are found in Fort Ord that are not found in any other area of the world. And when people are out there, they have the opportunity. We have a plethora of wildlife, everything from, the basic coyotes and bobcats to mountain lions, black bears, badgers, all kinds of insects and reptiles. And it's just a really beautiful place. You can go out there and spend most of the day and not see a single person.
So let's talk a little bit about the ribbon cutting that we're inviting people to. It's this Saturday at 11 o'clock. Where should people go to take part?
So the ribbon cutting is going to be taking place during the same time as the Monterey Off-Road Cycling Association's Take a Kid Mountain Biking Day. And it's a really great family friendly event. They have all kinds of obstacles set up. They have mountain bikes to loan out to kids, helmets to loan out to kids. It's a way for kids to get involved in the sport, try it out if they've never ridden a mountain bike over terrain. And so that goes from 10 till 1. And at 11 o'clock, we'll be walking right over maybe 20, 30 feet away from where that event is taking place to do the ribbon cutting. So people can look for the signs for the Take a Kid Mountain Biking Day, and then come right in through the gate and park out near the event and take part in the activities, and then come on over and we'll do the ribbon cutting. May, I think you're muted.
You're right. So that's Watkins Gate. So people who may not be familiar with the area may not be entirely sure, how to get in there.
Sure. There's two routes that can be taken to get to travel camp. One, they're both off of Reservation Road. So as you're coming from Salinas, you'll be on Reservation Road, and There's a stoplight at Watkins Gate. You make a left and stay on Watkins Gate, and that will take you right into travel camp. The other option is to stay on reservation, go till you hit the stoplight at Inner Garrison, and make a left on Inner Garrison, and then just follow the signage for the event. You'll come down Inner Garrison and make a left on Sherman, then a right onto West Camp. And then if you're coming from the peninsula, just obviously, reverse those directions.
Thank you, Bryan, and I'll let you get back to whoever's yelling at you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wherever you are, thanks for sharing
I'm
about
out at Toro Park, and it's always a busy day out here.
Thanks for sharing about the project and the ribbon cutting. We're all looking forward to it.
Thank you, ma'am.
On to our next topic now. We are seeing an increase of something in our area that really is heartbreaking and also illegal. It is an increase of animals being abandoned along the roadsides. This kind of action, it's dangerous, not just for the animals, but for drivers as well. We're going to hear today from our friends at Hitchcock Road Animal Services and the SPCA of Monterey County. Both these entities have a role to play in helping combat this. We're very pleased to have Cindy Burnham here and Beth Brookhouse from the SPCA. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Cindy, I'm wondering if you might get started and talk about what you're seeing.
Yes, hi, thank you, Maya. Welcome, Beth. We wanted to come together to highlight that we are seeing an increase and also share with the community that we are here for resources. And I do have a few slides, if I can share my screen to go over, and then if we have any questions on the back end of that. Give me just a sec to share my screen. Okay. Do you see the blue Hitchcock Road sign? Okay.
Sure do.
Okay. So we've been seeing at Hitchcock Road, and why we wanted to highlight this and also bring the SPCA on board with our messaging is because both of our agencies see animals that are abandoned, see animals that owners can no longer keep. But we've seen a recent spike in calls in the last couple of weeks for animals left on the side of the road, either in crates, unfortunately, or to fend for themselves. And specifically in one area where we really started to realize this was, a repetitive call that we were getting was out in North County with Old Stage Road and Crazy Horse. We had officers that went out there multiple times to bring some animals in, dogs, adult dogs that were left. We ended up having 7 dogs that came into us. A couple of them we were not able to catch and the public was able to bring to us. But we really wanted to emphasize, and remind folks that this is not okay. And just as a reminder, animal abandonment is illegal. It's in state code, it's in the county ordinance, it's in the city of Salinas ordinance, and it's there because deserting an animal is cruel and inhumane, and it doesn't lead to them finding a new home. I think people think, oh, I can't keep it, so I'll just take it out to a county road or a park where we see them. And they'll find a new home. That is not the case. And so my next slide here, talking about animal abandonment, is inhumane. You see a dog here left with a bunch of bags of dog food, which we see, that poor dog doesn't have thumbs to open those bags. So leaving bags of food does not help him. And really what you see is the stress and suffering of animals that get left out there. Is hard to describe. They lose their trust in humans. A lot of times, if we can't go out there immediately, we will never catch them. And so we really wanted people to know, because we do think times are getting hard and people are having a hard time with their pets, and I'll move into that, is that there are resources, because abandoning an animal on a local county road or a community park like we've been seeing in Salinas is not the place to leave your animals. It's really not. And so I know a lot of folks are saying, well, I don't want to go to the shelter. There is a chance they might get euthanized. But a shelter while yes, we can never guarantee an outcome, a share will guarantee you safety. They're not going to get hit by a car. We're going to feed them. We're going to give them warmth, and we're going to give them a second chance where we can. And so we really want people to reach out for resources before they make this decision to do this. We know it's challenging. It's expensive. I mean, we know going to a vet is hard right now. But making the heartbreaking and illegal decision to abandon your pet is not okay. There's resources, there's compassionate support, there could be options for rehoming, temporary foster care, some financial assistance, but we need people to ask before they make these decisions. We'll cover how to reach out to us, but we may have different services, cover different jurisdictions, but we just need you to start with calling us and asking us. And I know at Hitchcock Road, if we're not able to provide the direct resource, we will forward you on or provide you the resource that can help you. And so we wanted to provide Hitchcock Road information, SPCA information. We didn't want to get into kind of listing out who does what, because that does cause some confusion. So we just want you to start with calling us if you're having struggles, if your pet's needing vet care, or you're having, struggles feeding them, or you're having a housing situation. Please reach out first before you do that. And if it ends up that your animal does need to be surrendered to one of our shelters, know that we're going to do our best to rehome them as we can. But it is far better than choosing to leave your animal out where the stress and the injury and the risk of death is very high out there. Here, last slide here is Beth's contact information, my contact information, and I will stop sharing. And it's really kind of that short message of please contact us. If you're struggling to keep your pet, we want to help. We don't want to see animals left on the side of the road. One of the dogs that we did bring in from out in that area was a large German Shepherd that sustained injuries. But the injuries were caused after he was left out there. And so, that's not what we want to see. We want people to come tell us your situation and let us point you in a direction where you can get some support.
Cindy, thank you. And Beth, I'd like to bring you in now because everybody looks to both Hitchcock Road and the SPCA for good information, for support. Can you tell us what you're seeing at your organization?
I think Cindy covered it very well. We do see animals that are left on city streets or left out in the areas like Cindy said, and like she said, it's illegal and it's very inhumane. Your pets have been with you all their lives. They don't know how to survive on their own in the wild. They don't know how to get away from cars. It's never the answer. There are so many options out there, and many options to take in pets you simply can no longer care for, as well as options to help you keep your pets with you in your home. We're here for you. Please do contact us.
And Beth, I'm wondering if you could talk about what someone could expect if they have to surrender their animal. And that's something, as Cindy mentioned it and you mentioned it, people are concerned about going to a shelter. They don't think that something bad could happen if they abandon them, but they think something bad could happen to them at one of these shelters. Could you talk about maybe how that interaction goes to maybe demystify that?
Well, I can speak for SPCA Monterey County. We are, if you haven't been to us recently, we are an open, welcoming, comfortable place for pets and for people. Sheltering has changed a lot over the years, and our shelter is a very compassionate, comfortable place to be. Our team is non-judgmental. We do ask for a surrender fee, but if you cannot pay that, we will definitely work with you and really understand your situation. We will do everything we can to try to keep your pet if that's what you want. But if you're unable to keep your pet, we will be here for them. Euthanasia is sometimes an option if the animal is unable to be saved, but SPCA Monterey County, we're able to find homes for almost 90% of the animals who come to us. That's between 8 and 9 of every animal that comes to us finds a new home. So while those odds aren't 100%, they're vastly better than being left on the side of a busy street.
And Cindy, I'm wondering if you could talk at Hitchcock Road. You've got animal control officers who have the job of getting these animals who are left out there. What happens what's the process when they come into the shelter?
So when an animal comes in, either through animal control, actually we get a majority of our animals from the public as well. We're scanning them for microchips. We're checking over to see, are there any, immediate health concerns that we see. We're vaccinating them. We're taking their picture so that they can go online for a potential owner to claim them. And then we're moving them into the space that they're going to stay in, whether it's in our dog kennel wings or in one of our cat or small animal rooms. And so all of that's happening. They're online within an hour, and we're kind of starting to identify what pathway they may, go down. Is it something that we know we can move up for adoption, or we may need to work with our rescue partners, or in some situations where for safety or for health, we do have to have a euthanasia discussion. There's none of that that's set the minute the dog walks or the animal walks through the door. It's something that we have to evaluate, and we do 100% on every animal. We ask those questions because we want to make sure that we're providing the best positive pathway we can. And so, but we've got radiant floor heating in our kennels. They've got blankets. We've got some great setups for our cats. And so, we are trying to support the animals in the best that we can while they're housing them here.
Ladies, thank you both for being here to talk about this. It's an uncomfortable conversation, but it really has to be said. And I really appreciate you guys putting the word out there and making people feel more comfortable about a decision that they might have to make.
No problem.
Thank you for being here, both of you.
Take
All
care.
right. And our last topic. Are there ways to improve water efficiency in your home? Well, the Salinas Valley Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency, and I've always got to read that to make sure that I've got it exactly right because we see the abbreviation all the time. It's offering a no-cost indoor and outdoor water use evaluation for residential properties in certain areas. We're going to find out more about this and who is eligible. We have Piret Harmon from the agency to tell us about it. Hi, Piret. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Maya, and I think I'm going to turn off my camera because computer keeps telling me that internet connection is unstable. So it's not a good thing. I do want you to hear. So let's go off picture. I will share just one screen that leads everyone to our website. So we are the agency with a very long name, but our acronym is SVBGSA, and the website is svbgsa.org. So that's where you find more information. But where it got started is that in the urban settings, those households that are served by systems, either municipal or some of them are privately owned, but they're larger. They have been doing various water use efficiency measures for decades. And my thought was, for surely there's something available for rural residents. And I checked with different sources from the state, with my neighbors, with my peers, colleagues, and it did not exist. So what we decided to do here is to help with the groundwater management, is to set up a pilot program that is focused, helping rural residents. It has 3 components. So I'm gonna scroll down here really quickly so you see them. So we have water efficiency resources on this webpage. There's actually links and all types of useful and beneficial, interesting information for those households, how to be more efficient with their water. Then we had a survey we launched in the spring for about 3-4 months, trying to develop a baseline and get better understanding of the need. So the last piece of this, and it's the most exciting one, because it is, like Maya said, a free resource and free service we're offering is the home assessments. So it is conducted by a partner of ours, Waterwise, and they are experts. They come to your house. If you live in the northern part of the Salinas Valley, and if you don't know, I'll tell you how you can go about it exactly if you're eligible or not. But what it is the specialist you make an appointment, they come to your house and they walk through both indoors, outdoors, look at the showers, faucets, washers, anything that uses water indoors, and they can offer immediate suggestions of how to improve it. They have some of the few little devices with them they can install right then if that is something you would like them to do. And then outdoors, they take a look at your irrigation controller, they look at what type of landscape you have, and then also some recommendations that they can offer right away. They do write up a report at the end, and then they can come back second time. If there's something that would warrant a little more work, a little more time, they can schedule a second appointment and come back. And that's all is free for the homeowner. So for eligibility, like I said, it's a northern portion of Monterey County. I know people don't know typically what sub-basin they are in, so we're kind of leaving that. If you do know where your water comes from, that's helpful, but it's not necessary. And so let's think about it as north of Salinas and rural residents. So if you're served by the Cal Water, Alco, Marina Coast Water District, you do have resources offered by those agencies. But if you are on a small system, you have a private well, we want to hear from you. We want to help you. And then how to apply is we try to make it as simple as possible. So again, on our website, you click on this big green button, Home Assessment Interest Form. And if you have any questions, we have an email here. Feel free to use it to ask questions about the program itself or your eligibility. And the whole point of it is we are locally supplied. All of our water is from the groundwater. In the large part, some people rely on river or use recycled water for ag purposes, but 90% plus is groundwater, and it's ours to share. We need to take good care of it. We need to be good stewards of this. And we, the agency, we're looking at supply projects, but it's like with any budget, there is income and there's expenses. With the water budget, similarly, we need to be looking at how can we construct supplemental supply projects that help the balance water budget balance, but also we need to be looking at being very mindful and smart about how we use the water. So that's our program. It's open now. If you think you're live in one of those areas, please go to our website, SVBGSA.org, and then demand management, and you find this and submit the interest form.
Piret, thank you so much for walking through this. I know this is open now. Have you gotten some feedback and inquiries about this program?
It's brand new, and I have a staff member who is responsible for managing this program. So I have not checked with him. It's literally a couple of days ago we went live with that, and I mentioned the survey we did. We did receive about 100 responses to the survey, and we really appreciate those people. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to email those people that took the survey, asking if they are interested in that step 2, the home assessment. So we will be more actively searching out people that are interested in this.
And Piret, let me ask you, I know that people who live outside the city sometimes feel like they're on their own with their water system. This is a great opportunity to engage with them and say, we're here to support you. Is that kind of part of the thinking behind getting this going?
You hit the nail on its head, Maya. Exactly. I was thinking there were resources out there, There are maybe some, but they are not well organized, and we don't do as good of a job as I thought we should. We, being public agencies and water management agencies, helping the people that are operating more on their own or reliant on their own water sources.
Thank you so much for sharing this, especially when it's just getting started. We're really looking forward to hearing about the results and how many people get these efficiencies. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm happy to come back, Maya.
Oh, you got it.
Okay, thank you.
And thanks everyone for joining us on the news briefing this week. Our next briefing is next week, and we'll see you then.